Another question that I get a lot during my practice is fat good or bad? Funny story enough, when I was in university, I won't tell you when because it was a long time ago and then you'll know I'm really, really old. In university, we were taught that fat was bad. And that is because they were looking at a study that was done in Europe where they took 7 countries together in Europe. And the people with the more fat were doing the less well overall in terms of health. But what happened is that they put all the types of fat together. So all the people that were eating sausages and processed meat and saturated fat, they were doing not so well. But now when you look at other countries like the Mediterranean area, they eat lots of fat, but it's a different type of fat and they're doing awesome. So much so now that all the recommendations that we make now for nutrition are higher fat, healthy fat, like the Mediterranean diet. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Processed meat, bacon, very bad fat. Sorry, Trader Joe's, don't sue me, that's just what I have. But all the bacons are the same. It's a really, really bad fat. So much so that the WHO, the World Health Organization, has said that processed meat is a grade A carcinogen, which means that if you eat a lot of it, your risk of cancer is higher, 18% higher of developing colorectal cancer. So that's not very good. The reason why that is because processed meat, first of all, there's a lot of salt with it, lots of fat with it, and lots of nitrates with it, so it's like a preservative. But the worst part is that when you overheat meat, the fat on it, it burns. And so when you burn fat, there's free radicals, the little part of the molecule of fat that separates. When it separates, that free radical in your body will attack your own cells, including DNA. And we know that free radicals attacking your own DNA is one of the reasons you develop cancer. So really, really bad fat. If you were to have it once every 2 weeks, no problem. It's like smoking a cigarette once every 2 weeks, no problem. If you have it every day when you go to work and stop at the drive-thru and get a sandwich with bacon, no good. On the other side of that, the best fat you can find is walnuts. Walnuts are really, really high in healthy omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation. When you look at the whole reason why people have heart attack and heart disease is from eating too much fat and then eating too many French fries, which are high in omega-6 fatty acids, and too low in omega-3 fatty acids, which is lower inflammation. If you want me to tell you a little story about how heart attacks are made, is that, for example, if someone eats a big steak before going to bed or for supper just before going to bed, suddenly you have 900 calories just from the steak, and 400 calories of that is from the fat itself, the saturated fat. So what happens is that you're going to bed, you're not needing all the calories because there's so much of it at once. The body will make you store that fat. So when you travel, the fat in your body to go into the storage area, your fat area, you know, in the belly and all that, goes from your stomach into there. It's the bad fat that travels in your blood that will get deposited in the arteries. If you have lots of salt with the meat, your blood pressure goes up. There's a little tear in the artery that happens, and the inflammation from the French fries and the oil in the French fries will attack that thing. And so you have inflammation, and that's what causes heart attack. You have inflammation, the bad cholesterol depositing in the arteries, and the blood pressure. So basically what you're making is a smaller opening of the artery. And so if a blood clot goes through, it blocks, and now all the area around it, there's no more oxygen going to it, and it dies. So that's what happens when you have a heart attack. Or in your brain, it's a stroke. So it's a combination of too much fat, too much salt that cause the blood pressure to go up, and too much omega-6 fatty acids, which cause inflammation. So all of that together is what causes heart disease. Now, if you were to eat walnuts, very low in everything else that I said about the very high inflammation oil, no saturated fat, no salt, and high in omega-3. So now you don't have inflammation, you don't have the high blood pressure. This is really healthy. And you don't tend to overeat walnuts like you would tend to eat a steak. It's very rare for someone to eat 1,000 calories worth of walnuts in one sitting, right? And the beauty of this is that it comes with vitamins and minerals, no salt, no preservatives, and It also helps your brain feel happier. Again, less inflammation. Comes with fiber, vitamins, and minerals. It's a natural food that we need. We found that in the countries like Mediterranean area, they do a lot better, a lot less heart disease, a lot less of all the cancer and all that kind of stuff. Even olive oil, and there's no restriction on olive oil. You can eat as much olive oil as you want. It's not going to cause you any issues with your health. A healthy oil will make you feel full. So it's a good thing. Compared to 500 calories of oil versus 500 calories of Pepsi, this will make you feel full versus the 500 calories of Pepsi, for example. There's a really good thing about oil is that it makes you feel full. And it also helps you absorb all the good vitamins that are lipid soluble, like vitamin A, D, E, and K. So we need fat. There's good fat and there's bad fat. Same thing for avocado. Really, really healthy fat. Again, come from a plant, right? Butter is a bit of more of a gray area. Butter is not as good as olive oil, but it's hard to put olive oil on your bread. I mean, you have to be really dedicated. But it is better than margarines that are low quality with high trans fats. So if you're having a little bit of butter on your bread in the morning, it's not going to kill you. The problem is more of the big steak that we have at night before going to bed. I hope that answered all your questions.